Hello, everybody. I'm delighted today to be joined by Matt Spiller, the National Technical Sales Manager, Ground Gas, which we'll get into in a little bit, a little bit more detail in a few minutes for the Proctor Group. Matt, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you, Peter. It is a bit of a mouthful of a job description, I have to admit.
Yeah, just a little bit. I'm glad I've got it on my screen, and I didn't have to remember that. I definitely would have forgotten the ground gas bit. Well, let's get into that straight away. So let's first of all get to know you a little bit better. Just brief introduction for everybody that's joining us today.
Well, my name's Matt Spiller. I'm based down in South Wales, but I cover, as my job description alludes, I cover the entire UK. I've been in the grain gas sector now for almost 7 years, and membranes for coming up 18. And I come from an engineering background, and
Okay.
that's too long ago to even remember.
Sure. So a lot of knowledge going on there, which is fantastic. So that's Matt Spiller. You work for the Proctor Group. Can you give us a brief background to the Proctor Group?
I can, yeah. The Proctor Group is a family-owned business based up in Perthshire, Scotland, and we've been providing solutions into construction for well over 50 years, primarily membranes, breather membranes, roofing membranes, reflectives, vapor control, but also acoustics are quite a big part of our business,
Okay.
and insulation.
Okay. Oh, cool. So a whole mixture there. But like I said at the start, you're the National Technical Sales Manager for the ground gas. So I think that's what we're going to go on to talk about today. With that in mind, let's get a bit more specific now, and let's move on to one of those products. What product are we talking about within this case study today?
Today we're talking about our Protech Radon 400 membrane. It's the newest of our BBA certified products.
Oh,
Recently got our final certificate, which is great news.
yeah,
Um,
fantastic. We'll get into that a little bit later. Um, sorry for just jumping in there. We'll get into that a little bit later. Just give us a bit more detail about that product and what it allows people to do.
okay, so it's a reinforced virgin polymer membrane to prevent or certainly dramatically reduce the ingress of radon grain gas into buildings, whether they be residential or commercial. Radon's probably not very well known in general circles. In construction, a little bit better, but the general population mostly haven't heard of radon, and it's a pretty nasty, radioactive, naturally occurring grain gas, and it's the second biggest cause of lung cancer in the UK after smoking. So it's quite a serious problem, and this membrane helps to alleviate that.
Okay, I that was new information for me as well. I didn't actually know that either. So every day's a school day. Is that a national issue, or is it certain pockets of the UK which it's more prevalent to that type of thing?
Well, both. If I'm honest,
Okay.
it is national, but radon is more concentrated, certainly in areas such as Cornwall, South Wales. We have the Public Health England produce a UK radon map, and it's not 100% foolproof, but it's a really good guide on the likelihood of elevated levels of radon.
Mm.
But radon levels are everywhere, certainly in the UK.
Okay. Okay. Uh, it clearly an important thing to stop or have that barrier, but why, other than what it specifically needs to do? Why is it important for the construction industry to have a new barrier, to have a new product that does that on the market?
Well, historically, radon protection has been performed by the damp-proof membranes, and although it's not a bad thing, the vast majority of damp-proof membranes have moved on and become mostly 100% recycled, which is great for the environment, and they still perform a great job of damp-proofing. But the inconsistency in raw materials leads to an inconsistency in performance, and that performance on those membranes is no longer, in our opinion, acceptable to prevent this cancer-causing grain gas.
Okay, that leads me very nicely on to ask what requirements or what led up to thinking you needed or submitting an application for a BBA Agrement certification.
Well, we've got multiple BBA certificates, and they're very well received and very well respected in the construction industry. At Proctors, we do what we say on the tin. If our data sheets are correct, we're never misleading. We don't try and oversell. And what the BBA certification gives us is that third-party check. There are no false promises. There's no overstatement. And that's been independently verified with complete set of independent tests that what we're claiming this membrane can do, the BBA have checked and double checked and verified that yes, it can.
Yeah, I think that's a really eloquent way of putting what the BBA do and what they offer, and the importance of an Agrement certification there, which is fantastic. So this is a new product to the market. It's obviously got its benefits for using it, for, like you say, environmentally friendly, and also for protecting people first and foremost. Is it currently being used? Is there any examples of where it's being used?
Yes, it's been well received in the grain gas industry. It's a tricky one. What we often find in grain gas is case studies are really hard to come by, because ultimately the developer doesn't really want to broadcast that there are nasty substances in the grain below properties and buildings. So unfortunately, we normally end up with a no case study agreement when supplying these products. For example, on a housing development, it would probably affect sales if it was broadcast that it's a high radon area. So yeah, unfortunately, we're just not allowed to talk about it.
Sure, but it is being widely used, and let's, although we're not allowed to talk about it, how's the feedback been in terms of using the product?
Really positive feedback. The installers like the robustness of the product, and that's really important for us, because we want this product to continue to do its job post installation for the lifetime of the building. We don't want any issues 10, 15, 20 years down the line. This has to continue to protect the occupants for as long as that building is in use.
Yeah, absolutely. And I suppose this type of case study, getting a BBA Agrement certificate, massively helps in terms of that almost social proof of you can't use case studies. People don't really want to talk about it. It's not something you see. When you're looking at housing developments and things, you think, oh, that's a great barrier that protects me from radon gas. So allowing you to talk about it and the benefits here, I suppose, is a massive plus, really.
Oh, it is definitely. Yeah, it's a strange situation we find ourselves in, because once installed, no one will ever know it's there. It will continue to do its job with no idea that it's doing any job at all.
Yeah.
And without case studies, we're not allowed to talk or shout about it. So it can be difficult, and that's another bonus for us of the BBA certificate.
Okay, excellent. So sticking with the BBA for a little bit now, why choose to go with the BBA in the first place?
I think they're the tried and tested and most importantly, trusted third-party certifier in the UK. The construction industry doesn't value or trust any other accreditation, in my opinion, as much as the BBA.
Mm-hmm.
So for me and Proctors, we think along the same lines, is if there's a market leading third-party certificate out there, let's get that. We've got no doubt that our product will comply and will meet the requirements. So why would we not go for the best possible independent certification?
Makes perfect sense.
It's all about reassurance at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I suppose particularly for that product, it is massively about reassurance as well.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. It's and something you get from a BBA certificate is not just reassurance the product will work and that we've not made any false or over-promised. Specifiers trust a BBA certificate, so they are much more relaxed and much more willing to specify a product that's BBA certified. And again, with main contractors right through to installers, it's a real seal of approval. Everyone walks away confident that the right thing has been done. The product will do exactly as anticipated and expected.
Fantastic. That's great news. That's great to hear. What was your experience like working with the BBA?
Um, well,
You can be
we're kind
honest
of
here.
no, we're kind of old hat now. We've got multiple BBA certificates, so we know the process pretty well. Um, it's not fast, and nor do we expect it to be, because I think that would be alarming if you applied for a BBA certificate in the morning and it arrived by
Hmm.
email in the afternoon. So we understand that it's going through a whole host of tests, just double checking and proving that it complies with all relevant building regs and British standards, industry guidance, plus the claims we as a business have made. So it takes the time I would expect it to take.
Hmm.
Yeah, there are a lot of implications of this membrane in particular not doing its job. So it's reassuring to know that it's been thoroughly assessed. Yeah, speed is not the most important thing in this case for us.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think is it Stella Artois that their strapline is reassuringly expensive, something like that.
Yeah,
I like to think the BBA is reassuringly slow. If that's
yeah,
a
I
thing
would
we
say
could.
thorough.
Okay,
Swap.
let's go with thorough. Fantastic. Okay, right. Let's start to wrap this up then. Um, Yeah, so Matt, what does gaining BBA Agrement certification across multiple products, and for this one in particular, mean for yourself and for the wider business, the Proctor Group?
I think it helps enhance our reputation. If the products we supply out into the construction industry are all independently certified through the BBA, then there's a reassurance that we don't cut any corners with any of our products.
Hmm.
Um, it certainly helps when you're talking to architects and engineers when it comes to specification. It, I just think it really helps with your standing in the industry. It's a very well respected certification scheme,
Hmm.
and to consistently go back and have multiple membranes certified, I think just elevates you as a manufacturer supplier above all those companies that don't have independent or have alternative independent certification.
Hmm. Yeah, it's a great way to sum it up. Really, I think that's a massive benefit for everybody that comes to the BBA for any type of services. Okay, fantastic. Well, Matt, thank you so much for joining me today. Absolute pleasure to talk to you, and really interesting to know a bit more about the product and what it actually does and how important it is to the whole industry. Really, thank you so much.
It's a pleasure, Peter. Thank you.